What's up, otakus? It's your tour guide here with another comic haul video. I know I've been kind of going to the comic shop a lot these days, and I really gotta kind of take a break. We didn't spend a lot. What I did was I hit up half price books, and I picked up three more 25-cent books. So I spent 75 cents plus tax. It's like 83 cents or something like that I spent. And then I spent an even $5 and picked up five books from Geek Comics. So I spent a total of $5.83. And I picked up, how many books is that? 5 plus 3. I picked up 8 books. 8 books for $5.83. So I mean, if you average it out to per book, it's well under $1 per book. And the reason I went to Geek is because I had some time, and there's a book I want. I want to actually try to get Batman number 12. I think it's volume 2, number 12 from the New 52 series. And I just really want that book. So I thought, I've got some time. I actually had the entire day to kind of go and dig. So I went to Geek. Russ was there. Fire Guy Ryan was there. It was just really cool, to see them in the shop. I spoke with Russ a little bit. And I just pretty much just dug through long boxes looking for that Batman. Yeah, that was the entire goal. And I didn't get through, they've got a lot of long boxes, but I got through about, I want to say I got through about 75% of the long boxes. With no luck, Batman 12 was not in there. And eventually they were closing up. So I just had to kind of look through what I picked out and decide what to pick up. And I picked up 5 books. Now, before I get into the books, another thing I was looking out for was a specific comic, and I knew Geek had it because I had seen it before. So we're gonna get to that book, but I want to thank Brian LCS. This is a shout out to Brian LCS, who is he's just a great member of the community, really knowledgeable about his collections and comic books. And I've mentioned his channel before. Also he follows my channel, and he follows a comic bookworm, and he supports a lot of other channels. And so I just kudos to him for putting out great content and just being a great member of the community. Go and check out his eBay page. He sells a lot of comics, and he's a really reliable source for purchasing. But yeah, he had mentioned something on a recent video, and that got me to thinking that I wanted to do it. So we'll get to what that is. We'll get to what that is eventually at the very end. But I thought it was cool, when he kind of showed off his book. I thought, I want to do that too. So I basically am copying him, and I'm actually happy to add this book into my collection. It's a pretty nice, it's an interesting book. Okay, so let's get right to the haul. This is a fantasy sci-fi. The reason I got it is it's a first issue. It was there for 25 cents. It books at around $10. And with all the stuff that's being comics contents, especially this independent works that are getting optioned for television shows and whatnot, I just, for a quarter, it's a bet I'm willing to make. Even if it doesn't pan out to anything, I'm sure it's a great comic and a great story. So yeah, just thought it would be good to add it to the collection for 25 cents. It's Low by Image Comics, #1. Okay, so next, yeah, I got this for a quarter too. This is New Avengers #8, and it's the first appearance of the Black Order. Yeah, I haven't read this book, so I'm not, too familiar with who the Black Order is. But anyway, it's a first appearance. And again, for a quarter, it's a great cover. It's Mike Deodato Jr. art. Yeah, there's hopefully there's some spec potential there with the first appearance of a villainous team. Anyway, moving on. This one is cool. I really like this cover. This is also a key. This is New Avengers #7. And this is the issue where Wakanda declares war on Atlantis. And it's a great cover here by Mike Deodato Jr. again. Jonathan Hickman story. It's a great cover of Black Panther and Namor fighting. Just a great shot. Now, in the MCU, T'Challa is no longer, apparently he's just going to be killed off because, Chadwick Boseman is no longer with us. And so someone's going to take on the mantle of Black Panther. And, we'll find out in Black Panther 2 how that unfolds. But the rumor is that Namor will be making an appearance, and that Wakanda and Atlantis are at war in that movie. So this is a key issue. It's the issue that outlines the declaration of that war and the start of that conflict. So great spec book. This is booking at around 15 right now. So glad to pick it up for a quarter. And next, yeah, I got this. I found this in the 50-cent bin at Geek. Picked it up for 50 cents. X-Men 92. It's just a great Dave Nakayama cover. If I run across Nakayama in these bargain bins, I'm gonna try and pick it up. There was another comic there too. I just wasn't feeling the cover, even though it was a Nakayama cover. I wasn't feeling the cover, and so I didn't pick that one up. But I picked this one up. This one's nice. Wolverine's there, Jubilee's there. There's apparently a band, a real live band called the Flaming Lips that's featured not only on the cover, but I guess in the issue. I thought that was cool. So yeah, happy to add that into what's a growing David Nakayama collection. I hope to, it's something on my radar. So hopefully I pick up more. Okay, now we're into my Jim Lee books, and I picked up a real doozy of a Jim Lee key today. This is not it, but it's coming. And man, was I just ecstatic to get that Jim Lee book. I had been kind of searching for it. It's always in the back of my head to look for it. And so when I found it today in the long boxes, I was just like, yes! I was just kind of jumping up and down in the shop, squealing for joy. It was really a pretty cool moment. But yeah, we're going to get to that book, what that is. But before we get there, as you know, I'm the self-proclaimed #1 Jim Lee fan. And all my Comic Ball videos will feature at least one Jim Lee book pickup. It could be a double, it could be a triple, but usually when I go out, it's what I'm looking for, and it's usually, even if it's an insignificant book, I'll pick it up. So even if it's like a ratty copy in fact, I found a ratty copy of the 92 X-Men 1 annual. it was really ratty, but for 50 cents, I'm probably gonna go back and pick that up. Yeah. Anyway, I ran across that today in the long boxes as well. I didn't pick it up though, because again, it did have a good deal of cover damage to it. But for 50 cents, yeah. But anyway, this is Fantastic Four Volume 2, Number 6. This was not a popular run, even though I was excited about it when it first came out with the cover, Jim Lee cover of the Fantastic Four. I was like, no way, Jim Lee's doing Fantastic Four. That's awesome. And with covers like this, like, who wouldn't have picked it up? But yeah, it wasn't, I guess the story was just not that great. And I don't know, for me, I love Scott Williams and Jim Lee when they work together, but for some reason these covers weren't doing the art that much justice. Maybe they were, I don't know if they were, because this was a monthly book, maybe they were short on time, or they were rushing, I don't know, but some of these covers just aren't that great. But anyway, this is a cool cover. It's got the entire team plus Dr. Doom in the back. So cool Fantastic Four cover. This definitely becomes like probably my favorite Jim Lee Fantastic Four cover out of the books that I have. So I'm glad to have picked that up. This was, again, 50 cents. Anytime you can pick up a Jim Lee cover for 50 cents, you got to do it. This is one cover. This is not the book I mentioned earlier, but this is a cover that's really kind of been on the radar. I hadn't run across it until today, and it's an amazing cover. I had mentioned before, anytime you can have Jim Lee draw characters outside of what you're used to seeing, like X-Men and Wolverine and Batman and Superman, when you can see like a Jim Lee Thor or a Jim Lee Iron Man, you got to pick those up. You got to pick those because he doesn't draw those characters all that often. But when you can get 3, like Cap he's done before, but when you can get Cap, Iron Man, and Thor as a Jim Lee cover, man, that's just a special day. So I was so excited to pick this up along with that big Jim Lee key I'd mentioned, and let's just get right to it. This book is as big a key as you can get for Jim Lee collectors, and that is the official Handbook of Marvel Universe, Volume 2, Number 17. Now, this is not a Jim Lee cover, and Jim Lee only has one panel here on one page. And let me just show you what that is.
Okay, so this is the official Handbook of the Marvel Universe, number 17, Volume 2, Book of the Dead Deluxe Edition. And within these pages is officially the first internal artwork by Jim Lee for Marvel. So, a lot of people think it's Alpha Flight 51. That is technically his first, I guess, interior book where he does the entire book. But if you're talking about his first work, his first artwork, he has a few panels in here on page 16. So I'm just going to turn to page 16 and give you a sneak peek. Those are the panels by Jim Lee right there for Eel 1. There you go. So, this is a key book. I'm just so happy to have this in my collection now, and keep your eye out for this in the long boxes.
So as you saw, Jim Lee has one panel in this book, but it's the official first artwork for Marvel, first interior artwork for Marvel. It's just one page. It's the character Eel, and it's on page 16, but that's the first official work. Now, his next, I guess you could say, the full appearance. This is the first cameo appearance, I guess, of Jim Lee's work. The first full appearance of Jim Lee's work would be in Alpha Flight number 51. But that's not even a full appearance because he didn't do the cover. He did the interior work, but he didn't do the cover. And I've been saying, I was just recently on a Comic Book Worms, comic book collector series where we, kind of just discussed, and I talked about my collection there. But I mentioned on that channel earlier that really the book that has the collectability is not that Alpha Flight number 51. It's either this, which is the first appearance in Marvel of Jim Lee's art, the official first appearance. I mean, this precedes that Alpha Flight by months, and the first cover by Jim Lee in comics, not just Marvel, but in comics. So that would be Alpha Flight 53. And so I've been, kind of steering people in those two directions. Alpha Flight 51 is great. It's great. It's his first, interior art for Marvel. It's a significant book. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to devalue that book. I think $20 is still undervalued for his first interior artwork from Marvel. But at the same time, that isn't officially, it's not the official first work, and it's not the first full work because he didn't do cover. So it's kind of in that, it's definitely in kind of limbo in terms of its status. You can't really say definitively it's his first work because you can't definitively say it's his first, full comic book, full appearance type situation. I guess you could say it's his full first appearance, but when you look at, full appearance along with the cover, that's definitely Alpha Flight 53. So take all that information however you want. But if you're a Jim Lee collector like me, picking up Alpha Flight 51 is important. But given the choice on what's more collectible, definitely that first cover is the most collectible among these three books, in my opinion. Alpha Flight 53, it's Wolverine on the cover. It's Alpha Flight. It's his first real sort of comic book cover to finish, start to finish. And then I would put this as second. This is his first, again, it's one page, it's one panel, but it's his first official work. So that's more significant in my opinion. Now, this is not worth anything. It's $3, which is a real travesty for a Jim Lee first work. And you've got Santa, his Santa comic going for over $100, and his Alpha Flight going for $30. This, I think, deserves a little bit more respect, and I think it will gain more respect as community members become more aware. And so hopefully, if you want to follow me about Jim Lee stuff, I'll be putting out, I'll try to put out more Jim Lee updates and things of that nature, or just updates to my collection, which I'm always doing. But yeah, that's my 2 cents worth. So I'm so ecstatic to have brought this into my collection for 50 cents. This is just a great pickup. It's pretty high grade. I would say I would grade it an 8.0. Definitely needs a press. but there's no creases, nothing color breaking. There's just a lot of small little bumps here and there on the cover. So a press would definitely make this book just really pop. And I'm so happy I have this book now. This is like one of the biggest keys to my Jim Lee collection. And I didn't go to Mill Geek with the intention of finding this. But when I did, this is like becomes like one of the best hauls. And I've had some pretty good hauls this year, but this definitely makes this haul like extra special because this will go right to the start of my Jim Lee collection. And then, if we were doing it chronologically, this is definitely at the start. And then I don't have the Alpha Flight 51, but I do have the 53s, and the 53s would go right after this, but so happy to pick it up. All right, so the next book, before I get to the next book, I mentioned earlier that Brian LCS featured a comic, and what he featured a book that he really liked that had the cover date of his birth date. So forgive me, Brian, I forget the the year and the date, the month of the comic you featured, but that's your sort of quote unquote birthday comic or birth date comic. And I thought that was really cool because, I do collect like August 13 covers, just because I think they're cool. When it says August 13, that's my birthday. It just reminds me of my birthday, and I do have a few covers of those. So if I run across an August 13 cover, and it's a book I like, and it's not too expensive, I'll try and pick it up. This is not an August 13th, there's obviously an August 17th, but it kind of, illustrates the point. Well, I wanted to pick up a book from the year I was born. I was born in 1974, in the month of August 13, 1974. And I wanted to pick up a book from that, era. So I looked at Spider-Man. Spider-Man was the second appearance of Punisher. So that was like well out of my price range. Superman was this sort of like giant size, sort of 100-page, one of those comics. And it was just this really lame, hokey Superman there's this like cowboy there, like drawing his 6-shooters at Superman, and it was just it just didn't make any sense. It wasn't a cover that I really liked. Go check it out. Superman 1974 August. Type that in, you can see it's a really lame cover. The other one, I didn't even bother looking for Batman, even though Batman's a character I like. I wanted my birthday issue to feature Superman or Spider-Man, so one of the two. And so I went right over to Action Comics, and this was the issue in August 1974 for Action Comics. And it's really funny because for those of you who took part in Brian, what's his name? Sorry, Comic Cole and bearded Comic Bro. If you did their comic couples challenge in February, you know that they wanted you to feature couples comics, couples on the covers. And I featured a bunch of comics as well. I had fun doing that, but I didn't have this comic, and I would have, had I had this comic, I would have probably added this to my list. It's basically a domestic abuse case. Lois Lane is a woman handling Superman. And I just thought it's an interesting cover. The synopsis behind this is like a meteorite, a jewel from outer space, kind of it acts as a virus and makes her turn into this kind of like wild beast with like, super strength. And Clark has to concoct this home remedy, Kryptonian remedy to cure of this virus, and then all's well. So those were the kind of hokey stories that were going on in the early Bronze Age. But yeah, just it's actually a decent copy. I would say it's like in a 5.0 range. The back has some creases, but the front doesn't have really anything outside of this sort of corner crease right there. The spine's pretty decent. It's got spine ticks up and down it, but pretty decent, and the color is still pretty vibrant. But overall, there's no real big creases on the cover. It presents fairly well. So yeah, I have the birth date comic, and I think thanks again, shout out to Brian LCS for coming up with that great idea. I love it. And so this is officially my birth date comic. I would encourage you to take part. When basically what convinced me to get this was, if you want a comic that's exactly the same age as you, even though this was probably printed months before I was born, it's technically, August 1974. So, technically this book is the same age as I am. So that's just that kind of a cool thing, right? Like to have your favorite title, a copy of something in the run that shares your birth date and shares shares those milestones with you. And then Brian had mentioned doing it for his family members as well. So, I'm going to definitely pick out a comic for my son. When he gets into comics, I'm not going to, I definitely want him to like Superman, like his old man, but I'm not, he's his own, kid, and he's going to have his own tastes, and he'll probably be into something that's more current. So whatever he gets into, I'm going to try to get him his own birth date copy of a comic book. And so I'm just going to wait on that. But at the same time, I'm going to kind of look at, what comics are out there that are around his birthday, because I think that's just a cool thing to collect. So yeah, and hopefully we'll do it for my wife and all other milestones within our family. But I thought that was just a really cool idea. So thanks, Brian. Shout out to you. If you're watching, this is my birthday comic. I just got a kick out of it. I spent $3 on this copy. And I would valuate it at like $10 in its condition. So just happy to have that. So yeah, thank you for watching my haul video. Again, picked up a big Jim Lee key. And so yeah, hope you like this content. Go back and watch some of my other haul videos. I picked up a lot of books this month. I got a lot of value out of it, and that's the one thing I take pride in my hauls. I try to really be focused and not pick up a lot of stuff that I won't spark joy later on when I look at it, a year or two from now. It'll always spark joy for me. Those are the books I want to pick up. So that's what I try to do, and I try to get a lot of value out of my hauls. That's important to me too. So I try not to buy things at cover price. I'm usually in the bargain bins, or I'm trying to buy stuff, my key books, the higher price books at discounts. For me, it's not always about picking up high grade stuff, even though I want to try to pick it up. For the older books, I'm a little bit more flexible on the grade. For example, this Action Comics, it's just presents well, and it's a good comic to have. So yeah, hope you like that. And again, I'll be putting up another really big haul video coming up next week. So, if you want to watch that one, hit the notification bell, and when it goes up, you can watch it. So thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting the channel, and we'll see you next time.